Okay, this video here, we are actually going to be watching a YouTube video about the 2019 Hannover Fair. So this is a big automation fair, automation and robotics that goes on in Germany, in Hannover, every year. So there's going to be lots of opportunity to see different types of robots there, and we'll kind of stop every once in a while, talk about what's going on. But this video in its entirety, there's actually two parts to it. We're just going to go through the first part right now. This video in its entirety, there won't be any questions about this afterwards, so there's no assignment with this particular video. But the video in its entirety is on Blackboard right now, so it's right here. So you can click on this to watch the whole thing. But we will go through this. So you can see this is the convention center there. They put out a video of this every year, so it's pretty cool to see. Alright, so very first thing up here. This is a Universal robot. So Universal Robots is a company that makes collaborative robots. So a collaborative robot is a robot that's made to work alongside people. So what's different about a collaborative robot, and you'll see a bunch of them in this video, you can see people just walking around. There's no guarding around this robot. So a collaborative robot is made to work safely alongside people. Okay? So they move at relatively slow speeds, and they are very sensitive to detecting a collision. So they are actually rated by safety to be able to work alongside people without guarding around them. Okay? So it's actually basically what's considered to be a safe robot. So Universal Robots is a company that is the world leader right now in collaborative robot technology. So they're pretty distinctive, you can tell. They have these blue caps on them here, and they've got this goofball hand on the end of this just kind of waving around. It's kind of a demo here. But we actually did a project last year. I'll show some video of that in another one. But we did a project last year with a student using one of these for a local company. Moving some parts around. And we actually have one of these now in our research group as well. So that's a collaborative robot. So this is a big Fanuc articulated robot, 6-axis articulated robot. You can tell it's a Fanuc because it's yellow. This is a Fanuc Scara robot. So a Scara robot that kind of moves like that. You can tell just how fast this thing goes. So that thing just flies around when it's moving. This is a Delta robot, so a Fanuc Delta robot. So we have a little Fanuc Delta out in our lab as well. You can tell that's commonly used picking and placing off of conveyors. Here's another example here. This is a pretty neat application. We're going to talk about this for a second. This is another Universal robot. You can see you've got another one over here, another one over here. Again, collaborative. You can tell collaborative because no guarding between person and robot. You can see this thing right here. I believe this thing is called a Pickit. Pickit, P-I-C-K-I-T, Pickit. And it is a vision system. You're going to see a lot of robots that are using machine vision here. What this will do is it will locate randomly placed parts in a bin. So it takes a picture and gives you the actual, it'll locate that part and give you the orientation and enable a robot to pick up a randomly placed part. So this is basically picking these water bottles out of this bin and then stacking them here. And we actually have one of these systems in our research group as well that we get to experiment with. So you can see that's basically locating those bottles and enabling them to find them, these randomly placed objects in here, and pick them up. So here we have some Cartesian robots. So remember that XYZ movement, only 3 axis. Cartesian robots. Here's another Cartesian robots. And you can see using those axes all together to make circles. It's actually making circular movements here. That's kind of cool. This is a Stably robot. That's another manufacturer. Stably. This isn't really doing anything too cool here, but it's working in a wet environment. I guess that's kind of what this is showing. It's probably a washdown rated robot. So you got water spraying all around here. This one's kind of cool. This is by Festo. I think this is called I think they call it the elephant trunk. But it is a new style that they have developed at Festo. So it is a bunch of, I don't even know what it's like inside, but I've seen it on other videos before, but it works basically like an elephant's trunk. Like all the muscles inside an elephant's trunk, and is able to move like that. It's pretty cool. This one, not really sure what it's doing, but it looks kind of cool. I'm not sure what manufacturer that is. That might be Kamau with the red. Red tends to be Kamau. This is an ABB painting robot. Kind of showing how it's simulating painting on the screen there. Kind of cool. Another 6-axis articulated robot. You can tell all the non-collaborative robots, there's always some type of guarding between the robot and people. So you can see the glass casing there. This is a Kawasaki robot. That's probably also a Kawasaki motorcycle that is lifting. It's always impressive how graceful and smooth everything moves. That's a big robot. Robots are measured by how far they reach. The reach and the payload are the two things they measure. You can see some lightsabers going on in the background there. Some lightsaber battle going on between some robots. Alright, so here's another Scara style robot on a filling line, it looks like. This one here, I'm not sure what's significant about this one. I don't see anything real impressive here. You can see the labels here. I wonder what that means. Does that be like an impact? Point out some other stuff here. Safety devices. So you got an e-stop in there. This is an Adept robot. Another manufacturer. The vibrating feed table. It's probably using vision to locate those parts and pick them up. Now this is cool. This is an ABB Yumi. Now what's really neat is that we actually have one of these in our lab. You'll get to see this probably this summer in your Robots 1 course. We use this sometimes. But this is a collaborative robot. It's got the 2 arms, so it kind of does this. You'll probably get to use this this summer, possibly. We have one of these in our lab. It has a vision camera in each hand, and it actually has 7 axes in each arm. So this is 14 axes altogether in this robot. So this is basically 2 robotic arms all within one controller. You see the guy with the teach pendant here. This is a collaborative robot, so you don't need guarding around it. If this thing hits you when it's moving, it'll just stop dead. Kind of feels like somebody just kind of bumping into you. But it's very cool. I have no idea what this thing is, but it's super cool too. It's like a big spider. Here's another Delta style robot. A little conveyor system. No idea what that is. Here's a KUKA robot. This is kind of neat here. You can see it doing a tool change operation. So that's one of the things we do a lot with robots is changing tools automatically. So it drops off one tool, picks up another one, continues on with what it was doing, using a different tool. I'll drop that one, pick up another one. Now this is really neat. I've watched this a couple times. This is really crazy. So Cartesian robot, and you can watch, it is going to drop things onto this rotating circular motion here. So it is going to match the circular motion of that spinning disc. And it's going to keep going faster and faster as it goes. So it's able to, using that XY plane, it is able to match that motion. But watch how fast this thing is capable of going and still able to synchronize with that rotating motion. That is a pretty amazing mechanical and control system accomplishment here. That is amazing. These are the kind of things I could just watch like all day long probably. Watch how fast this thing goes. And it's still synchronizing with it. That's insane. This is a Denso robot. Again, this one would be collaborative. You can tell there's no fencing around it, so it's be collaborative. So Denso collaborative robot. Collaboratives are always very small, very sleek looking as well. Here is an automated forklift, AGV for automated guided vehicle. We actually have an AGV in our research group as well. They hope to be driving that around the FCM next year. It's this thing guiding by itself. That's going to be a new technology that really takes off in the next couple of years. So here is some, these are Yamaha. So you have one Scara robot and one 6-axis articulated robot working together. A couple of different technologies working together. This is neat. This is a Fanuc collaborative robot. So we talked about how most of the collaborative robots are small. This one is huge. So watch how this comes down, hits the guy's arm, and it stops. Now he's going to put this into a mode where you can actually push it around. This is another thing with collaborative robots, is you can actually teach them by pushing them. So he's going to disable this here and put it into a mode where you can just actually push the whole thing around, which is really cool. This is Yaskawa Motoman. So two robots all synchronized together here. One thing at these trade shows, you see lots of really cool stuff like this. Companies really like to show off all their capabilities. I'm not sure what those are exactly, but they might be collaborative as well. They kind of look like a collaborative. This is a, that's a weld gun there, a spot welding gun. That's what that is on the end of that robot. I'm not sure the manufacturer, but that's a spot welding gun. This is a Kawasaki, 2 Scara robots by Kawasaki. It looks like this thing makes coffee and delivers it to you. That'd be collaborative because there's no guarding around it. Looks like you can order what kind of coffee you want and it brings it to you. It's an ABB 6-axis articulated. Basically what this robot here is doing right now, you would be able to program this by the end of next year. Quite easily. Those would be things you'd be capable of doing. Here's another AGV. delivering cars around. I'm going to show you something here. Let's look at some safety devices. On the corners of these AGVs right here, if you look over here, you'll see these little things hanging down. Those are area scanners. We talked about that being one of the applications of area scanners. See right there. On this one here too. So that's basically scanning the area and searching for objects that are in the way. So if things get too close to that, if it's going to hit something, it'll actually stop. So that's one other application. Common application for area scanners now is putting them on AGVs. These are by SEW. Here's that Festo elephant trunk thing again. That's just freaky looking. Here's some more Festo. This is just more Cartesian stuff. I didn't find this one very interesting. Here's another universal. This one has red caps on it, or kind of fuchsia caps. I'm not sure what the significance is of that. It's putting these little cars on this track. So it's dropping a little race car on a track, having it go through. Not sure what the significance is of that. Then this one here, this is pretty neat. This is picking up these little poker chips as they're spinning with a Delta robot. You can see here, a couple things here in the background here, light curtains. So that would be where you would actually reach through to interact with this. Light curtains here. I'm going to guess, this doesn't show it all, I'm going to guess this is trying to spell Kuka. You can see as it picks up here, so it's picking up these things as they're moving. It's pretty neat. Looks like a K, and it looks like it's starting to spell a U here. I guess that's what it's trying to do. And there we are. So that's a bunch of different types of robots. So it kind of gives you an idea of what the technology is today. And we'll watch a little bit of another video. Okay, thanks.